Imagine you have $10 in your pocket. You need to buy lunch. That's $7. But then your friend says, "Hey, let's go to the movies tonight." So you borrow $5 from another friend. Now you have $15 total. You go to the movies, you eat popcorn, you feel great. But the next day, you still owe your friend $5, and you only have $3 left. This is exactly what's happening to millions of Americans every single day. They're not bad with money. They're not lazy. They're trapped in a system that was built this way. Let me show you why. Let's start with a simple question. Why do people borrow money? Because they don't have enough right now. That makes sense, right? If you want a toy, but you only have $5, and the toy costs $20, you need to borrow $15. Now, here's the tricky part. In America, almost everything costs more than people have right now. Houses cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. College costs tens of thousands of dollars. Even a car costs more than most people have saved. So what do people do? They borrow. They borrow to buy a house, they borrow to go to school, they borrow to buy a car. And that borrowing has a name. It's called debt. Debt means you owe someone money and you have to pay it back later. But here's the problem. When you pay it back, you don't just pay back what you borrowed. You pay back more. That extra money is called interest. And that's where the trap begins. Let me explain interest using candy. Imagine your friend gives you 10 pieces of candy today, but tomorrow you have to give back 12 pieces. You borrowed 10, but you owe 12. Those extra 2 pieces, that's interest. Now, let's say you don't have 12 pieces tomorrow. So your friend says, "Okay, just give me what you can, and you can owe me the rest." But now the debt gets bigger because the interest keeps growing. Next week, you owe 14 pieces, then 16, then 20, even though you only borrowed 10. This is exactly how credit cards work in America. Let's say you borrow $1,000 on a credit card. The credit card company says, "Pay us back, but also pay us interest." The interest might be 15% or 20% or even more. That means if you borrowed $1,000, you might end up paying back $1,200 or $1,500. And if you can't pay it all back quickly, the debt keeps growing. Because of this, many Americans are paying back money for years and years, even though they only borrowed a little bit at the start. Now let's talk about why Americans have to borrow so much in the first place. Here's the big secret. Things in America cost more than they used to, but salaries, the money people earn from their jobs, didn't go up the same way. Let me show you what I mean. 30 years ago, let's say a house cost $100,000, and let's say a person earned $30,000 a year. So if they saved really hard, they could buy a house in a few years. But today, that same house might cost $400,000, and that person, they might earn $50,000 a year. The house price went up 4 times, but the salary only went up a little bit. So what happens? People can't buy houses without borrowing a huge amount of money. The same thing happened with college. College used to cost a few $1,000s. Now it costs tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands. But jobs don't pay enough to cover that. So students borrow, and they borrow a lot. That means by the time they start working, they're already in debt. They owe money before they even get their first paycheck. Let's bring this to real life. Meet Sarah. She's 25 years old. She just finished college. She borrowed $40,000 to pay for school. Now she has a job. She earns $3,000 a month. Sounds good, right? But wait, let's see where that money goes. Rent, $1,200. Groceries, $400. Car payment, because she borrowed money to buy a car, $300. Car insurance, $150. Phone bill, $80. Electricity and internet, $100. Student loan payment, $400. Add it all up, that's $2,630. She has $370 left, but she still needs gas for her car. She still needs to buy clothes sometimes. She still wants to see her friends once in a while. So what does she do? She uses a credit card because she doesn't have enough. And now she's borrowing again. Because of this, Sarah is stuck. She's working hard, she's not spending on crazy things, but she can't get ahead. And there are millions of Sarahs in America. So let's connect the dots. Why are Americans always in debt? Because things cost too much. Houses, college, cars, healthcare. And because salaries didn't go up the same way. That means people have to borrow just to live a normal life. And when you borrow, you have to pay interest. That interest makes the debt bigger. So even if you're paying money back every month, the total amount you owe might not go down very fast. That means you stay in debt for years, sometimes decades. It's not because people are bad with money. It's because the system is set up this way. You almost can't avoid it. Here's the simple truth. Debt in America isn't just about people making mistakes. It's about a world where everything costs more than people earn, where borrowing is the only way to get a house or go to school or even buy a car. And once you borrow, the interest keeps you trapped. Does that mean there's no way out? No. People can get out of debt, but it takes time, discipline, and a plan. The first step is understanding how it works, because once you see the trap, you can start avoiding it, or at least you can stop blaming yourself. Remember this, debt isn't a punishment, it's a tool. But in America, that tool is being used against most people, not for them. If you understand that, you're already smarter than most, and that's the first step to taking control.